Good afternoon. This is the January 8th, 2018 Laverne Library Board meeting. I'll call this meeting to order. And we do have a quorum. First item on the agenda is to approve the minutes for the regular held meeting that was held on September 11th, 2017. I'd like to make a motion on those minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that passes. The first order of business, this is an FYI on the 2018 Library Board meeting dates. Do you want to do those, or do you want me to?
If you would like to, that'd be great.
I'll just go over them. They are January 8th, which is today, March 12th, May 14th, July 9th, September 10th, and November 12th. The next item is an FYI, the 2018 library events and closures. And Donna, would you like to talk about those?
Sure. You have in your packet 12 months here, January through December of 2018. What I've tried to do is go through and put down all of the dates that the library will be closed. Also, I was able to fill in all of the Lego Club dates so that we know those ahead of time. All of our story time dates, which includes homeschool story time, preschool, which is Once Upon a Story Time, and then babies, which is Little Treasures, and our Jammies story time, which is Miss Jana's story time at night. So I have went ahead and plugged those in to each month. Was not able to get a lot of our programs because we're still working on some of the programs that we're going to do. But if you want to, we'll just go through very quickly through the month of January. You'll notice, of course, we were closed on Monday the 1st. We have on the 20th is our adult winter reading program. It's going to run through March the 3rd, and it's Read Some More Books. So it's going to be a fun program. In February, there are no days that the library is closed. And if you see anything that you want to ask about, please do so. And like I said, this is not all of the program dates. This is just some of our regulars.
Go back to January and state that the library is closed on the 15th. Martin Luther King Day.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Yes, in January the 15th, Monday. Yes, thank you very much. We will be closed for Martin Luther King Day, and of course there will be a celebration here in City Hall in the boardroom that is presented by the Parks and Recreation Department. And we also have a really nice display that Becky did at the library. Would love for you all to come and see the display. It's really nice. Thank you for bringing that out, Bridget.
Do you all plan on having any more of the painting classes or anything in the future?
We do have our painting classes. I did not put those
Okay.
on here. Sign-ups for the couples painting class in February, which would be February the 13th. The sign-ups begin on January 13th. And we're calling it couples because it's a side-by-side painting, but if singles want to come, we do not discriminate. You definitely can come and paint one side of the painting. It'd be very pretty. And we have those displayed at the library. All right, moving on to February. The painting class will be the 13th. And just our regular story times at that time. In March, we will not have the babies or Jammies story time on March the 1st because our children's staff will be going to the summer reading conference that will be held at the Nashville Public Library. So they will be there. Saturday the 3rd is our adult winter reading program finale. We usually have a dance. This year we're going to have a game day. So when you come to pick up all of your materials for winter reading, be sure and look at the finale. It's a lot of fun stuff that's going to be happening. If you will look at the 9th and 10th of March, this will be our book sale. This will be the first book sale in a year. Because if you recall, and I do recall very clearly, February the 15th of 2017, we had rivers running through the library, and so we did not have a spring book sale. But we will be having that book sale. It will be at the multipurpose building because we have stored all of our books, all of our donated books down there. It's going to be a huge sale. So we're going to start getting flyers out very soon. We want people to come. All right, looking over, the next special thing happening would be the American Girl Tea Party at 11 a.m. on Saturday the 17th. And the library will be closed for Good Friday on March the 30th and the 31st. And when you see in parentheses the RDO, that is regular day off. Because the library generally, well, the library is open 6 days a week, we do want our staff to be able to have a long weekend, and so we tied in to some of the holidays that the city gives us, but we use it as one of our regular days off. So instead of if someone has a day off on Wednesday, they'll be using that day off on Saturday. Okay. In April, pretty much the same. Toward the end of the month, if you will notice, the week of the 30th, we will not have story times beginning that week until August 27th. That sounded like a really long time, but the month of May, our children's staff prepares for summer reading. Then we have our huge summer reading program, June and July. August, they are putting the library back together, finding books, and then they'll start story times on the 27th again. In May, of course, we're prepping for summer reading, and we do have summer reading for children, teens, and adults. The library will be closed on Saturday the 26th and Monday the 28th, which is Memorial Day. The 26th is an RDO. I've also plugged in the library board meetings on there. And again, there will be more programs. It looks pretty blank, but we will definitely have more programs, adult and children and teens. June, summer reading program begins on Friday the 1st. And we'll start our sign-ups that day. And then we go for 8 weeks, and I've put our weeks there to the side on Sunday. We have all sorts of great performers again and great things happening. This year's theme is Libraries Rock. And so it's going to be music theme, which is right up my alley, and really excited about that. Okay, we did go ahead and plug in the Great American Duck Race. That is always the week of July 4th because it's the Great American Duck Race. And that will be on the 5th, the day after the 4th. The library will be closed on Independence Day. And then our summer reading program ends on the 28th. The adults will have their finale on Friday the 27th. I did not plug that in. And it will be a dance because it's music. Okay, in August, no regular story times. They're getting the library back together. And we are very honored to be the facility that's going to host a dulcimer class. And this is terrible. I cannot remember the instructor's name, but he's very famous. And he has taught and he has played with many, many artists, music artists. And I will have that name for you all. I may even email it to you. But he is doing this class, which is across the region, and they're all going to come to the library and be taught the dulcimer. So we'll be having some music even after our summer reading.
So is this class, is it like 3 parts, or is each class the same class for 3 days?
It is a 3-day class.
So, okay,
Yes,
wow. That's,
and I will get more info in
Wow.
case anyone is interested in signing up. He already has several people who have signed up for this class. There is a charge to the class, and we are just providing, the facility. But I will get some more information. But it is a 3-day class.
in depth.
A lot of dulcimer. September, the library is closed for an RDO on Saturday the 1st and Labor Day the 3rd. And then the very next Saturday, we will be closed for Old Timers Day. Old Timers Day is early again this year, so come visit us at our booth at Old Timers Day. We will be starting story times back, if you noticed, the week of August the 27th. All right, and moving on down. Let's go to October. Our next book sale, we are planning a fall book sale, and this one will be at the library. So that's on the 12th and the 13th. And then Gross Grub, right around the corner on the 25th. And Trail of Treats will be on the 27th. November, the library will be closed on Thursday the 22nd and Friday the 23rd, and an RDO on the 24th. And then December, Parade of Lights on the 1st, Magic of Santa on the 8th. Seems like we just did that. And then our last week of story times will be the week of the 10th, and that will be until January the 7th. Again, this year, this coming December is the same as last December. We will be closed to the public during those days. That very last week, we'll be doing an inventory at that time. This year, we did cleaning, some deep cleaning, and the library smells and looks wonderful. But the library will be closed for an RDO on the 22nd, and then, of course, closed for the holiday on the 24th and 25th, and then closed to the public 26th, 27th, 28th, and 29th. Library staff will be working during that time. This is also an opportunity for our part-time staff to be able to get their hours in. Full-time staff, a lot of times, will take some of their vacation days or personal days during that time. Unfortunately, the part-time staff does not have it, and so we want to make sure they get their hours in, and they do, and they appreciate it. Okay, do you have any questions? I wish I would have had a little more information in there for you, but that'd give us a jump start.
Yeah, that's helpful right there.
Okay.
Any questions?
Well, it's been since September since we had our last meeting, so any updates that you can give us from September to December about the library events? How did the Veterans Story go, and I guess the other events you've had at the library? Good attendance? I mean, our biggest one was probably the solar eclipse, but...
And I'm so sorry, Bridget, I'm having a hard time following. Say that again now.
Can you update us on the events since September about the Veterans Story? And,
Sure. Yes,
anything else?
since September was our last meeting, and I apologize for canceling the meeting. I had some dental stuff going on in November. So, yes, September was great. We did have, let me look back here a little bit. The Veterans Story went really well in November. It really did. We had several participants. Linda brought in some great things. And here we go. And of course, our Veterans Day Memorial at Memorial Park was wonderful. We had some pretty good attendance at our other events that we had. Our after-school art, that's going really well. That's for grades 1st through 5th. In November, they did the pumpkins to turkeys, and that was a lot of fun, and they enjoyed that. I'm sorry, my mind is just gone. Magic of Santa, the attendance was very, very well attended. And Crochet Creations is something that's really going over well. So we're excited about that. That's for beginner crochet people. Mm-hmm. And they enjoy that, and Jennifer's doing a really good job.
Now, what day is that on, the crochet creations, what day is that on?
It is usually the second Tuesday of the month, and it's from 5:30 to 7:30. Thank you. But the Veterans Day, we do want for the whole month of November again next year to do this again and expand it. Zach was trying to find places to display things toward the end of the month. People caught on that we were doing this, and it was great. Some really wonderful displays. We had a couple of things from World War I, World War II, and of course the Vietnam era, and then Desert Storm, Desert Shield. So it was really good. Thank you.
Thank y'all for doing that.
Thank you.
All right. Next item is a discussion on filling out library card applications, scanning and shredding, and applicant picture on the account, the patron's account. If you want to start,
Yeah,
what's
I'll
your
just-
thoughts and wondering
Right.
about?
Kind of start throwing it out to you. When someone comes in to get a library card, they fill out an application, which I know that all of you have done so. And then what we have been doing is, of course, filing these away in filing cabinets and keeping it in case we needed to go back to check for signatures, to update, things of this sort. Going paperless is the big thing to do now, plus it saves on storage. Not sure that we're ready to go totally paperless, but we are ready to find some solutions to all of the old library sheets that we do have that we're having to store. Some of the things that we have talked about is scanning them, and then after they're scanned, to shred them. What we do like is when we put the information into the computer, into Atrium, we have someone else double check to make sure that all of the information was put in correctly, date of births, driver's license numbers, because they could use their driver's license as an alternate ID. And so I just want to throw it out to you all and just get some feedback on how you feel. We did reach out to the line ball system, and they do not even have them fill out an application. They take their driver's license or their photo ID and something with their current address. They put the information in, they ask them the other questions and fill it out, and that's it. Just want to see just a little bit of starting discussion here.
That sounds like a really good idea. Just the scanning of the IDs. Now, but the children, all they usually have is Social Security cards.
Right. And another thing to kind of go along with it, what I have talked to Glenn about, Atrium is capable of us putting a picture on their account. So many times a teen will come in. If they don't have their library card, then they want to get on the computer and they may not have a driver's license yet. We need some sort of ID, but if we had their picture, then it would make it a little bit easier for us to be able to give them a guest pass. Some of our seniors sometimes forget their cards and may have left their license in the trunk of the car. If we can look them up, you know, and see their picture, then we're able to do that. So Glenn, I want you to kind of start us off, because you were over there, you helped us set up so much of this.
We did talk a long time ago about doing a scanning system with our current city scanning system, and we'd started that project a little bit, getting just some discovery and stuff like that. And then, of course, it was one of those things that it's not broke, and it got pushed back and back and back. But I think it's something we should probably bring back to the forefront. I think that would probably be the way to go, at least with what you currently have now, all the paper stuff. Going forward with that same system, we could do electronic forms now with it. So they could actually take those pieces of information from them. They wouldn't have to fill out anything, and they could
Okay.
input it into an electronic form, which would look similar to what you currently have now, and then it would store that in the same repository as the paper stuff. So that's probably the best way to do it, because there's no investment or anything. It's a citywide system. We already have, every department has storage on that system to do that. So that's a cheap and easy way to do this. And the same with the camera. Those, we can get the cameras for nothing. I mean, they cost hardly anything, and just plug them in and do the pictures. I think that would be fine to do if y'all think that's something that would be beneficial. I do have a question, Nick.
Sure.
Is there any, and I don't know that you know the answer to this now, but just something to think about, or maybe you do, but is there any reason, do we need a signature to say that they are, if you can show him the part on there that, I agree to return the books and follow the guidelines and stuff, is there a requirement that we have a signature, or is it something we could say that by using the library facilities, you agree to this? So
I guess you're asking, though, if you get rid of these pieces of paper and instead go to a strictly electronic version where you're maybe taking their picture and inputting their information, there'd be nothing for them to sign.
Right.
at that
Can
point.
we hold them responsible?
I can look into that. Obviously, if somebody steals a book and you want to actually prosecute them either criminally or suing them in civil court, whether they've signed something or not, I mean, it would help if they did, but you can still, if you have their information, you can still go after them despite having the signature. Is that something worth reaching out to Limbaugh and see if they, you said that they,
Right, they do not have any signatures at all.
sure. I can look into that and email Donna back. And
Yeah,
Yes,
I wouldn't imagine that there's any state law that requires, as a prerequisite to issuing an ID card, that someone signed for it. But I'll look into that.
Yeah, just so we know before we go
May I
too
keep
far
the-
doing
may I keep
something
these, Donna?
and
Oh, absolutely,
have to
yes.
backtrack and
Sure.
and do. That's just something that occurred to me. So if there's no problem with that, then we can do it all electronically, just like they do it.
Okay,
The only thing I'm just spitballing here, but the only thing maybe is requiring, in the case of a juvenile, having a parent sign,
Right.
because generally a juvenile can't be held responsible for certain things civilly, and if a parent comes in and their child comes in and steals $400 or $500 worth of books, or y'all do electronic music or records or stuff like that, you can't sue a child.
Right.
But if you have something like that their parents have signed, obligating them for whatever their child does, in that case you might. But I don't mean to interrupt, but I can look into it.
No, that's exactly what we need to know.
this is for our ST1s, and this is our ST2s, which are our teenagers,
Sure.
and then the adults.
Okay.
So,
Okay, great.
okay. Any,
So with the scanning and everything, do you need help with that? Do you have the manpower to scan what items you already have?
The,
Scan the ones that are already.
already the applications that we have, I would say that we would need to.
Probably need some help. At least
It
At
would-
least till we find out how automated it can be. It could be that the system can read, there's gonna be something that it can't read in human handwriting, but, if we can do something like, if it can read the library card, we can produce a database from Atrium itself and have it match up with that patron record in there, and go ahead and scan that piece of paper and put all that indexed information in there. Kind of like with the time card, if you're aware of the time cards and payroll, it does that same sort of thing, and it's automatically files them in the proper folder. So there's some automation we can do there. Once we find out how far that can go, then we might have to enlist, especially people in the city that have scanners
Right.
on their desks that could do these things. Yeah.
And we are getting ready to do a purge, which we have needed to do for a while because we currently have about 41,000 patrons. And of course, not all are active. And so we're going to go back so many years. We haven't quite decided. I believe it's 5 years that we'll be going back. And if they have not come in to renew their library card in that period of time, then we will be deleting them. And then if they do come back, you know, we will get them back into the system. They would just start fresh again.
Do you, if they still have something checked out on their account, I know, I can't remember what in the past, if you left that account or if you went ahead and if you turned it over to collection, or if the book was, I don't know what you do in those, or
Right.
have you decided what you're gonna do in those
Well,
situations?
Debbie and I have been working on that. We are actually calling some of those. We went back into long overdues and into lost items that have gone to loss. And we actually did a mass mailing of a letter, because we do emails, is what we normally do as far as notifications on overdue books. Some people do not have emails. And so we went in and we did a mass mailing out, and we've already got some items back. And then, of course, we've received back the envelopes where it's no longer this address. So we're going ahead and taking them out, and we're just calling a loss on those, that we cannot follow through. And one good thing that we did during the water damage, we were down for quite a while. We were able to also pull up a lot of the long overdues at that time, and our staff called people, and some people would say, "Oh, we have them sitting right here on the shelf," and they may have been long overdue, a couple, 3 years, and they just didn't make it back to the library. And we actually had an amnesty day, or amnesty, it was like a month. If you bring it back, we're waiving those fines, we just would like to have the materials back. And some of it was too old that we didn't put back into our system, but at least we recouped those. So we've been trying to work toward that, and we'll make a decision on what we are going to do depending on how much is out there.
Glenn, I assume the atrium is a secure network and all this information will be protected, this driver license numbers and so forth?
It's on an internal network there. Yeah, it's secured. So it's not a cloud-based thing.
Safe from hackers?
As safe as you can be nowadays. There is no 100% anymore.
And there's a backup for it in case we...
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. It's a good system. It backs up every day, and we store it on a separate little SAN
All right.
over there.
We have no social security numbers or anything of that sort. We do have driver's license numbers, but no social security.
Okay.
Any other thoughts?
Anybody have any other ideas or anything, like where they work, or things they've used in the past that might fit this bill?
Bridget, I know you said your company has gone paperless, and
Yeah, but all of our raw data, we still scan in and we attach to the data, the electronic data. So anything that we're writing on is scanned in and attached. So if we do need signatures or something.
You
for
need
us.
that. You can print that page back off.
Yes.
That's kind of what we would do initially, just
Right.
scan that physical piece of paper.
Kind of what they do in court.
It takes a long
Yes.
time. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is. That's why I was asking, do you need help? Because it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's exactly like in
Like
courts.
court.
and the good thing, we're feast or famine over there. We either have lots of people up there wanting to check out, or it's really quiet, and so the staff is really good. If we have something close by that we can scan and still watch, we'll be,
Yep.
definitely, that would be a good time to do it. And question for you,
Sure.
Nick. I know this is probably considered a policy, so we would need to make a motion on this. So next library board meeting, we're hoping to have enough information to bring back that perhaps we can make a motion?
Yeah, I think, I'm not exactly sure if it would be or not. It might
Okay.
depend on what you research and what developments might have between now and the next meeting.
Okay.
I mean, you are the head librarian, right? The department head.
I'm
So,
yes.
so you, under your auspices, there's certain day-to-day stuff, but, yeah, that might be something that would be up for a motion. I can talk with you more
All
about
right,
that.
I appreciate that.
I have, we're talking about signatures. Do you know of any libraries that have like a central kiosk? They might have a touch screen where people could just fill out that information and electronically sign if you really wanted that.
Don't know of any, but I will sure find out. I will look into that. And I think you even said something about that at one time, having a pad.
That's what I can't remember, but we need to look at Atrium, because for some reason, I'm thinking not only can you capture the picture, you can capture an electronic signature
Signature.
with a little digital pad.
If you can do that easily and cost effectively, that really gets rid of,
Yeah.
I mean, you can
That
get their
would be-
signature that way instead of having a piece of paper.
I
That
would
would
find
be
it hard to
awesome.
believe that they haven't included that, being as robust as that system is. So we'll look at that, because we could certainly do that.
Okay.
That would be similar to the one over at Stonecrest where you check in now. It used to be you'd have to go to the desk and all that. Now you've got your 2 kiosks there and you just sign in
I
and,
think that's
Go.
right, what Nick is referring to,
Similar.
something similar to that.
yeah, that would be
But
good.
that's very interesting. I want to see if
Yes.
some libraries do.
Yeah.
But that jogged my memory that you had talked about a pad.
I think we've talked about that for some reason, because I think we talked about actually having a sign up there in front of the signature pad that said, where you would tell them, read this.
Right,
and
that
sign-
gives our,
and sign this.
Right.
And that took the place of that text on there. We'll have to refresh ourselves on that, but I think that's true.
very good. Any other questions or?
As far as the photographs for this, I mean, you have 41,000 people already have library cards. How are you gonna, I mean, what would
We-
you just do it with, as far as new
We
enrollees
probably
only,
would
maybe?
start with the new.
Okay.
And then when some of our regulars come in, and if they would like to have their picture made to add to their account, that would be fine. But don't you think, Glenn, just,
There's no way you could gather
Right.
all the old, yeah, you would have, just have to say,
That'd
start
be
here and go
Huge
forward.
chore, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
and some of our teams that have made us feel like this is something we need to do, that come in on a regular basis, we could capture them very, very easily. But I would think just starting and going
yeah,
forward.
yeah.
But you're welcome to come in and let's get your picture. So,
Need a
that would be
skinny
great.
pig.
I really do think that would be a good feature to have.
Okay.
Well, thank you all for the good discussion, and we will do some more research and bring this back to our March 12th meeting. And if you think of anything in between that you have a question about, please feel free to shoot me an email, and I'll get with whoever I need to get with.
Any other comments or questions on that topic? All right, I believe that's, you have anything else you need to?
That's it.
The next library board meeting, as you mentioned, will be Monday, March 12th at 5 PM. And if there's nothing else, we'll call this meeting adjourned.
Thank you all.